Hey guys, what's going on? This is Yuri with the GT Coalition. Today we're going to do actually a long-term follow-up on my 2018 GT Zaskar Carbon Pro. A few changes I've done since I've owned the bike is I was pretty dissatisfied with the Schwabies that came on here. So I went with the Vittoria Mezcal 2.9 by 2.25, which is same width as the previous Schwabie Racing Ralphs that were on here. The other thing that I had to do is, I was getting some play in the cranks, and I'll go on the other side and just kind of point it out. But swapped it out with the Chris King bottom bracket. So this is a PF92. If you're going to be running, so the SRAM bottom bracket on here ended up breaking. So what happens is, if you're interested in doing a Chris King upgrade, you get the bottom bracket, and I believe you have to get the Chris King adapter number 6, so you can actually put a Chris King bottom bracket in one of these. Other than that, other things I've kind of done just to kind of trick out the bike is I'll probably put another shorter stem on this, and also I switched out the clamps. One of them broke, so on the Magura MT5s it's a plastic clamp on our carbotecture. Here you can order these out of Jensen for about maybe roughly about 15 bucks, and they're metal, so they're alloy, and you can tighten them, and you really have some, and they come in yellow, blue, and of course standard typical black. Here I remember last time I talked about the Altera handlebar. Changed it out too. This is a Chromag. It's their foo bar in a 31.8. It's a 31.8, so because the stem's a 31.8, and I'm still running the Race Face half Nelson grips. Let's see what other updates that I have done. It hasn't been much. The other thing is I decided to go with SQ Labs with their saddle, just because with the WTB saddle that was stock on here, it's a good enough saddle for me for being in, on a 2-hour ride. Anything more than that, I wanted something comfortable. I've been testing this out. It's the SQ Lab 661 saddle in a 150 wide. I did contact them for, SQ Labs for the fit kit, and so it came out. My width was like 145 with everything, all things considered, in the instructions. And they gave and when I emailed them, like, what's a recommendation? Would you go 140 or would you go 150 millimeters? And you said go a little bit wider, it wouldn't hurt, so just round up to 150. Other things that I have done, actually, I should have mentioned. So the Magura MT5s have been really excellent. And we'll go on a ride review, and I'm impressed with these. I've swapped out the pads because I wore mine down in under a year of riding, and imagine I'm only riding like 2-hour rides, kind of just in hilly terrain for about 2 hours once every, or maybe about 4 hours a week. And within a mountain bike season, I had worn them down to literally just a backing, and I kind of heard this noise, looked into it, and that's why. I'm running MTs, the MT7 pad, the individual pads, and the performance is noticeably improved. I'm still running the SRAM rotors. I will upgrade. It's just I have other projects, so it's just a cost issue. Even though I know I just mentioned the Chris King thing, but that's kind of a priority. I wanted to test this out because they Chris King warranties out their work. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a good run for the money for all the kind of style of riding that I do. The dropper, this KS E10 Integra, has been very reliable all seasons, in the Pacific Northwest winters, and so I'm still happy with that. The SRAM drivetrain, everything's held up pretty good. I've only had to get it adjusted once, and if anybody knows SRAM Exo drivetrain, or SRAM drivetrains in particular, like you do a quarter of a barrel turn and the whole thing just goes out of whack. So it's been kind of a little bit just kind of testing things out, and I think I got it dialed in. And of course, I don't know, I think at some point in time I have to get a new set of stance wheels. With some trials riding that I do, I ding that up, but it's holding up. Doesn't look that devastating, so I think it can hang on. But anyway, hang tight. We're gonna go on a ride review here at Tapeworm Trail here in Renton, Washington, and I'll just kind of talk through how the bike is handling. Even though I did ship that, that was a crash. And I think my next upgrade, I should say, is an Chris King headset, so we'll be doing that too. But anyway, hang tight. We'll get on with a ride and just kind of discuss how the parts changes have made it better or worse. So hang tight. Hey everybody, we are back. We're gonna go on our ride review here on the 2018 GT Zaskar Carbon Pro. Unfortunately, they haven't. GT should so do that, you know, and I've really conveyed that to the folks over at GT that, you know, like, bring back the Zaskar. This is such a great cross-country bike. And hopefully, you know, I mean, to bring it back, such a beautiful bike. So the one thing I will say about this bike that I absolutely love is these tires are just really meant for it, and these brakes. Like, it grips really well. I've had a chance to test out the mezcals in like Pacific Northwest mud. Not the best tire. Like, but of course it's mud, right? And I'm saying that in comparison to the Vittoria, or not the Maxxis, Aspens, which do a really good job evacuating mud, and they're predictable. These are definitely, it's anybody's game. So thought I would fancy that up. So I do like the brakes here. You know, the RockShox Sid has done pretty well. Like, haven't had to like fill air in it, given how hard I ride this. And the reason I'm picking out this trail is because I imagine a lot of you who are interested in this bike, and the Zaskar Carbon Pros, or the carbon bikes I should say, from 2018 and 2019, just looking at the specs, frame geometry wise, it doesn't seem like there's really any difference, which is nice, because I think in my opinion this is an excellent, my favorite Zaskar frame by far. Like, they just got the numbers right, and I think GT, I wonder if GT just finally said, you know, let's get rid of like the idea of making it the ultimate cross-country bike. I should say weight-wise, this is like right under 25 pounds. you know, with all the parts. Even though I went, and even though I also went with a budget dropper. So, yeah, I mean, this bike climbs really well. And you know, like you know, mind you, I weigh like, I'm a 220-pound rider on a hardtail. Believe it or not, I know sometimes it shocks people that I weigh that much, but you know, multiple scales tell me those numbers don't lie. But yeah, I thought I would just pick out a trail like this. I know many of you have seen my other video where I'm actually like taking this thing off drops that are I wouldn't say they're like crankworks crazy, but you know, most people who are looking for an XC hardtail, many times you're not looking for that. So I figure I'd ride it here, where in this trail in my backyard, as I call it, that offers a nice mix of cool stuff. Like there's some opportunities for me to get trialsy or what have you, so that's cool. And I figure a lot of you are looking for a nice cross-country rig, not necessarily a bike that's gonna be a trial slash park slash third jumper, like just a generalist bike. But in all honesty, this bike fits the bill for all of that. I mean, I'm serious. If you wanted a general bike, you do dirt jumping, you do XC. I'm competing on this bike at the Sea Otter, the 2019 Sea Otter Classic out in Monterey, and I'm doing a Cat 3. Ooh, I'm still running tubes. I refuse. Sorry, everybody, but I just refuse to run tubes on this because you know, trying to just deal with as many bikes as I own, sometimes it's the last thing you want to do. Yeah, buddy. And I know, like, if you're watching this, you're like, why the hell am I picking these lines? I like picking out harder lines. That's intentional, just so you know, it really pushes my skill limit a bit, because it's not a race. So such a light, fun bike. And with the part swap, I mean, I made this bike surprisingly better. Every part swap made this bike better. Usually, right, like you're gonna get a compromise, like, oh, I shortened the stem, now it's to whatever. But this is awesome. It's my favorite bike of all time. And to update you guys following, stay tuned. I'm gonna be bringing, there is a 2019 GT sensor or LTS sensor Elite coming to the mix. So that will be fun. Get up and over this rock. And this is pretty soft, gravelly of a climb, but the Vittoria Mezcals really grip. They grip nicely. Now we're gonna get a little bit trialsy. Nice. Such a comfortable bike. Love it. And compared to its previous alloy, or the previous gen Zaskars, even including the carbon trims, to be honest, this bike is awesome, like so much more improved in my opinion. And the reason I show you guys, I decided I'm gonna redo my videos and do on ride reviews, is because, right, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but sorry for all the hard breathing. It's like you're watching porn or something, because I'm like and that's why I'm doing Cat 3 XC races, baby. But you know, it's hard to, you know, you see a snippet of a guy's bike review, you know, and it's a highlight of their best possible edits, right? For me, I really want you guys to see the kind of riding I'm doing and the skill level that I'm coming from, so you can honestly gauge that yourself and be, you know, like, how could you, does it, my riding style match yours? Do your trails look like mine? And be like, is this bike for me? You know, it's hard to, you know, it's hard to gauge, you know, based on people's reviews, Rudy, right? And riding in groups, and where your riding buddies share opinions, you know, sometimes, you know, like 4 routes to one guy is like super Rudy to them, but for you, you're like, I don't know why this is an issue, you know. Also, it lets you gauge, right? These on-ride reviews, I'll try to put one out every week, because, you know, there's not an airplane, and if the weather's good, I can usually knock these out. But you're really hopefully getting in a appreciation for the riding style that I'm doing. Ooh, there we go. Go up and over. Nice. And this bike corners better, I'm sure, than I could. Oh, whoops. My running flats. And my foot slipped. Dang. But you saw me go over that rock, so I mean, cut me a little slack. But also, you know, the reason I'm doing these real-time ride reviews is so also, depending on, like, if some of you are watching this video and it's relatable to you, I mean, that's why I'm doing it. You know, I want people out there to feel like they're making, you know, like, good choices, buying decisions and things. Because I mean, it's cool to be, it'd be awesome to be like the next pro, or you know, like, geez, any, like a World Cup racer. But you know, like, a lot of you do want a pro bike or a really nice quality bike like this one, and honestly not even and really feel like the bike is for you, or like, oh, I could relate to that, you know, I ride just like this guy, you know, and I would, you know, like, what I'm saying matches like, or you know, like matches what you want in a ride or things like that. But long-term wise, I've been hitting some pretty hard trails on this bike. I've raced it all season, and the really only big component failure that I've had on this bike is that SRAM bottom bracket, that press fit. It is press fit bottom bracket, and I'm really excited that the LTS sensor is not rocking press fit, because you know, like, it, oh man, the it's not just the creaking, it's really the play that you get when your SRAM BB goes out. And that was under a year, you know. That's the only, I think that's really the one thing a sealed cartridge square taper will ever rock is, you know, like, you could beat those things senseless. I mean, the Chris King bottom bracket on here is even new to new, like SRAM new to Chris King new. I mean, it's so noticeable. The Chris King thing right now is so good. I love it. I know, and I'm writing crap like this. It's like, what the hell are you doing, you crazy man? Making sure when I hit that drop, something flew out. I'm hoping that was a stick. I think it is. but it's a cool bike. Like who this bike is for, it's an everybody's bike, and I genuinely mean that. So if you can get, if you live in the US, especially, since they don't sell it here yet, still or yet, like if you can find in 2018 Zaskar Carbon or 19, you will love that bike. You'll love it. It's you know, the ride is compliant, really compliant, yet it's snappy, and it's snappier. It's how do I explain it? You know, like it's noticeable. If any of you are coming from previous gen Zaskars, this bike, you'll hop on and just immediately fall in love with it. The handling's good, and I did cut these bars. Originally they were 780s. Ooh, fancy. But I'm not that, even though I'm kind of wide. I'm hand wise, I'm not that wide, so arm wise. But this is a nice mixed trail, and yeah, that was a cinch. This is a nice mixed trail for us to demonstrate, or for me, demonstrate how capable this bike is. And man, the climbing with this 34, it's a 34 tooth up front and a 52 in the back, you know, just makes the climbing tasks less taxing for a heavy guy like me. And just to, if you didn't watch my first video, just to remind everybody, you know, I'm 5'6". The bike, the Zaskar Carbon Pro, all stock, in a size medium, was felt, I didn't feel too big or too small. It really felt at home with me. Leg wise, I'm 5'6" with a 32-inch inseam. Whew. And yesterday I rode with some friends, you know, where we're hitting some pretty mild, you know, like not Crankworks crazy jump lines, and this bike felt so good, like so good in with regard to control. Whew. Let's see. Take the inside line. And to see the kind of other riding I do on this bike, feel free to click on my channel. I got other videos on this bike. A few with Old Man Jump Club to play on the Old Man Jump Club playlist, and also the Backyard Fun, my video titled Backyard Fun on the GT Zaskar, you know, and you'll see me doing some kind of semi-Charlesy stuff, going off one particularly big drop, and I think a gap jump, you know, just to show you, you know, the different riding styles this bike really blends in on. I think there's only one other bike that I feel exceptionally at home with, and that would be my 2013 GT Zaskar Elite, which is an aluminum frame. It's a size small, and frame side by side, on the frame they're kind of like the same, surprisingly, like almost the same length, but the cockpit, the top tube clearance, everything feels so close. But that one is definitely like a little bit of a different feeling bike. It still feels good, but this one feels very generalist, like cross country. You know, this bike feels like such a nice generalist bike, and it's because of the parts upgrades too. You know, anybody that hasn't seen my first video with this, the SRAM level tail brakes that they did have on this bike, they did give me some issues to where the lever would lock out. So if you squeeze really fast, the lever would lock out, so your brake doesn't even work at all, which is not good to have. So SRAM warrantied it, which is nice. But you know, I had a race coming up, in a cross-country race, so I was like, well, I need brakes now, what do you recommend? And the guys at the bike shop know the kind of riding that I do, and they're like, get the Magura MT5s, you know, and these brakes are ridiculously good. I should just do a review on them. I'll probably do that anyway. But other than that, if you have any questions about this really cool bike, feel free to drop any questions, comments in the comment box below, and I'll always try and make it a point to get back to you guys. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'm hanging out, riding. I'm gonna do more ride reviews coming up of old videos, because now I have a better camera too, and that way a lot of you guys interested in a used bike or new bike or whatever, you know, can have some idea of what, you know, my opinions are, and hopefully it relates to you. Other than that, stay tuned, more videos to come. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.